So thanks, Akiko, and hello, everybody. I'm really pleased that today IAFI will be presenting the 4th Suraj and Shyama Devi Agarwal Book Prize. This is in honor of my late parents. And the winner is Ayse Arslan for her book, Women's Productive and Reproductive Labor, Class and Gender Inequalities in Turkey. So this is published by Routledge. It's the second year that Routledge has had a book which has been another round. My warmest congratulations, therefore. Personally, we already see how well-deserved this win is. So this, as you know, is a biennial prize for books in feminist economics that demonstrate new pathways in the theory, methodology, empirical analysis, or policy on any aspect of gender and the economy. And it is global. The author can come from anywhere. Now, Ayse's book uses a feminist and political economy approach to analyze the exploitation and subordination of women. These are women garment workers in Turkey. And there's a line in the citation which was prepared by the prize committee that specially struck me. And it says, she documents through in-depth interviews the struggles and aspirations of the women who come from varied backgrounds, the formal sector, sweatshops, home-based workers, by being employed alongside them and socializing with them. So this ethnographic method of embedding yourself in the subjects you are studying is certainly feminist economics, and I would say quite the opposite of mainstream economics, or mainstream economists might do. And it pays her rich dividends because Ayse's deep engagement with these women enabled her to make astute observations about their perspectives and interactions, thus bridging feminist theory and women's realities. So it so well deserves this prize, which, as I said, I established in honor of my late parents, who throughout their lives supported young women in their dreams of higher education. Now, in the last prize round, I had said a few words about them, which I won't repeat, but rather I want to say something about a special quality that they possessed, a particular kind of generosity, but each in their own way. So, for instance, my father quietly supported, he was an engineer by training and a bureaucrat, he quietly supported the needy, and this ranged from giving a loan to a young person for a risky business venture to paying for eyeglasses for poor working class folks who couldn't afford them. So I only learned about this after he passed away, and then one day a stranger approached me and asked me for a pair of new glasses. So astonished, I said, "Why me?" And he said, "Well, your dad promised me." So I did get him the glasses, although luckily nobody else has since approached me. My mother's generosity to strangers took a very different form. No one was turned away from her door who was hungry or thirsty. They wouldn't be left empty-handed, even if it meant emptying the fridge. I was thinking about it and I said, perhaps it is part of an old Indian tradition or South Asian tradition of giving alms to strangers. Perhaps it is the idea expressed by the 15th century Indian poet Kabir. He's called the Bhakti poet, who said, "You never know in what form God may turn up at your door." I believe, however, that my mother's generosity went beyond such homilies. In fact, any gift of fruit or food she herself received was immediately shared with her neighbors. Indeed, the idea that no one should go hungry, that we must share our food and water with others, is an ancient one in many cultures. People even feed birds and street dogs. And I feel this is especially important to remember today as we are flooded with TV images of starving children in conflict zones. We need to ask ourselves, how have we lost our humanity? But let me end not with somber words. This is indeed a celebration. And I want to warmly thank Wendy Kanzovi for her help in getting publishers to nominate books and to track them. My warmest thanks to the jury, IAFI Prize Committee, Maria Floro, Hema Swaminathan, and Uma Rani, who's not here, for their heroic task in selecting a winner. And once again, warmest congratulations, Ayse, for very inspiring work. So I think we need to take up the citation. And there's a...
It's really my honor to read the prize citation for Ayse Arslan and her remarkable book, Women's Productive and Reproductive Labor, Class and Gender Inequalities in Turkey. We, the member of the prize selection committee, unanimously agreed that this remarkable book merits the Suraj and Shyama Devi Agarwal Book Prize for 2025, which was established to recognize works of original scholarship in the field of feminist economics. Dr. Arslan, I'll call you Ayse, has written a widely accessible book that applies a feminist, historical, materialist, and political economy approach to analyzing labor, gender, and social reproduction. Using multi-method approach, including ethnographic method, she rigorously examines the interconnection between class and gender across the productive and reproductive spheres, both at the macro and micro levels, in various industrial settings, enabling Ayse to investigate the multi-layered socioeconomic processes that underpin women's exploitation and subordination at work and in the family, and how these processes are intertwined and reinforcing. She documents, as mentioned by Bina Agarwal earlier, to in-depth interviews and the struggles and aspirations of women by immersing herself with them, living their life as workers by being employed alongside them and socializing with them. The book's strength lies in its intersectional political economy approach and strong theoretical framework in which the stories, narratives, reflections, and the analysis of women's daily experiences are grounded. Ayse combines participant observation with quantitative data to construct the gendered macro setting of Turkey's garment industry. Her multi-method approach sheds light on how gendered labor is undervalued and exploited both in the production and process as well as social reproduction. At the same time, she deftly demonstrates how the interplay of structural, sociocultural, and political economic forces shape the labor conditions and gender relations that define women's everyday experiences, interests, and perspectives. Her analysis of the material conditions of capitalist production involving work pressure, labor discipline, and other control mechanisms are highlighted vividly, as well as the undervalued and restrictive effects of reproductive work, revealing the underlying tensions in interclass as well as intra-class relations. Arslan's rigorous scholarship effectively bridges feminist economic theory and women's lived realities. It thus makes a valuable contribution to both political economy and feminist economic debates. It deepens our understanding of class as a socio-cultural and economic formation by analyzing how women workers individually as well as collectively feel about their situation and by examining the interconnections between different forms of oppression. But the freshness with which she recounts the women's stories and her astute observations about their agency, their perspective, and interpersonal interactions is what makes this book a compelling read. Her insights are highly relevant both for policymakers grappling with gender and labor issues, for feminist activists and academics seeking to advance women's rights and economic empowerment. The book's findings can help frame more effectively policy interventions to address the unique challenges women face in precarious labor sectors like Turkey's garment industry. Thank you, Ayse, for providing us this remarkable book.
Hi. I would like to first sincerely thank to the jury for their time, recognition, and for this beautiful citation. It's a great honor to receive this prize. This book grew out of my PhD thesis at SOAS, and I am deeply grateful to those who supported me along the way, especially my supervisor, Alessandra Mezzatri, the rest of my PhD committee, my examiners, Kanchana Ruvampura, who is here with us now, and Öze Monaran. Special thanks to Christina Abbots at Routledge, who believed in this book and nominated it. Of course, my deepest gratitude goes to the women garment workers I met during field work. Their openness, resilience, and generosity shaped my work in every way. And receiving a prize in the name of Suraj and Shyama Devi Agarwal is especially meaningful to me as someone from a working class background who accessed higher education through the support of various institutions and individuals. Many never get that chance. So thank you to Bina for creating this prize and to IFE for creating this space. And thank you all too.